So I'm reading this book called The Millionaire Mind, and it's a very interesting book. The book was published in 2000, and it differentiates characteristics of people that are millionaires and people, obviously, that are not millionaires. And I think the book is very revealing in many different ways because it talks about the characteristics of millionaires. Okay, and it talks about how they live their life, where they live, and some of the key things that I noticed in the book. Number one was that a lot of these millionaires are married. They've been married over 30 years. They say over 60% of all millionaires have been married over 30 years. That's a revealing statistic there. So what does it tell you? It tells you that people that are married, it seems to be that their partner complements them in accumulating wealth versus not helping them accumulate wealth. And also within that, their wives are housewives. So majority of millionaire wives, they tend to work at home. They don't have a job. They're not out there working a 40-hour work week. Okay, they're taking care of the household duties. Now, I'm not advocating for all women to be a housewife, but this is a characteristic of millionaires. Now, some wives, they do work part-time because if it's something that they would like to do, but it's not something that is the norm in a millionaire's household. Okay, so that's very interesting there. Another key component is their living. Okay, so most millionaires live in older neighborhoods, and they've lived in their homes over 10 years, at least 10 years. A lot of these homes were built in the 1930s and 1940s, but they live in like these, old-fashioned neighborhoods. A lot, and they bought their homes at a relatively good price. So they didn't buy their homes at nobody. By the way, nobody bought their homes at $1 million or above. They all bought their homes at about $450,000 or less. And a lot of them looked for foreclosures when there was a financial collapse in the U.S. So now that's another story. But even if you didn't buy a foreclosure, a lot of millionaires bought homes where their value of the home increased in value. So, for example, they bought a house at $350,000. The house is worth well over $1 million. That gives them a net worth of about, let's say, $700,000 minimum. I mean, that by itself has single-handedly helped, a lot of these people become millionaires. Another telling statistic in this is that a lot of these homeowners have little to no debt. So a lot of their homes are paid off, and a lot of them didn't even have to pay their mortgage to the 30-year mark. So they paid their house sooner than the 30-year mortgage. So they paid it in 10 years or 15 years. So that's a revealing statistic right there. So it tells you that also they say over 80% of all millionaires own a piece of real estate. Get you a piece of real estate, easy, buy it, but make sure it's a piece of real estate that you're going to live in, not necessarily for you to flip and do all these other things with. It's just for you to live in, and you can do well that way. So that's very revealing. Another thing that was very interesting is that millionaires did not spend a lot of money on their weddings. They spend very minimal money. Oftentimes, the rings were passed down from one generation to the next. So they're not even spending money on a ring. An engagement. They spend it under, and if they do buy an engagement ring, it's under like $1,500. when you account for inflation, I mean, this book was written in 2000, right? It's 2024 today. But think about it. If your engagement ring is under $1,000, even today, hey, you've done well. Now, I'm not advocating for, a cheap diamond ring. You know what I'm saying? Ladies want a nice ring. I understand that, but if my mother was married and she gave me her ring, you're damn skippy I'm gonna get it to my wife. I don't have to pay anything. I just save myself, let's say $10,000 or $5,000 on a ring, or 20 grand, or whatever much money you got on a ring. So just that alone, you save money. Okay. Yeah. So, I'm just saying, hit your mama up, hit your grandma up for that diamond ring. But sometimes I understand that, like for instance, my mom and dad, they broke up when I was 13 years of age, right? So who knows where that diamond ring is at? I don't even know if my mama got it. She may have it. I don't know. But they broke up, 35 now. So who knows what happened with that ring? So most of y'all may not have somebody you can go to, like a mama, grandma, father, uncle, whoever, who has a diamond ring they can give you. But the moral of the story is just find you a less expensive ring. Don't go out there and break the bank trying to buy an expensive diamond ring. It don't make sense. It don't make sense. So what else? Man, another key contributing factor was how this author outlined what he called income statement affluent versus balance sheet affluent, right? An income statement affluent person has high income, right? They live in a nice house. They have huge debt amounts though, right? Their debt is really high. And this is key here. But their net worth is very low. So they have no net worth. Now, a balance sheet affluent person has still high income, all right? Their debt is minimal to zero, so they have low debt, but they have a lot of assets that generate income, right? And this is key. You cannot accumulate debt and become wealthy. It's the single biggest contributing factor to go against being wealthy. You have to accumulate assets, low debt, whereby they kick back income every single month, every single quarter, every single year. This is the way of the wealthy. Now, people don't realize that the single biggest contributing factor to people losing their homes is from foreclosure. I got a whole video about how to avoid foreclosure. Paying down your house well in advance before the 30-year mark comes about. Okay? The second biggest reason, and also with businesses, the single biggest reason why businesses go out of debt, the biggest reason why businesses go out of business is because of debt. Too much debt, not enough cash flow. So you have to be able to eradicate that debt, attack it full time. Because if not, you're going to be out of business before you start. Millionaires do not utilize credit like as if they're living on credit. They all realize that they have to eliminate credit at all costs. Most of these guys are in their late 40s. They all said the same thing. A lot of these guys were living on credit just like a lot of people are. But they were running a rat race. The income they make, they use it to pay down credit. Then they take out more credit to buy more things, and then the income they make from that, they use that to pay down credit. So it's a revolving cycle that never ends. So you have to be able to utilize credit in a way that's going to be beneficial to you. Now, I would say that you should eradicate credit altogether, but you got to have some sort of credit. I understand that, to establish a high credit score. So, and this has been my issue too, trying to eliminate the credit that I have. Okay, so focus on it, and you position yourself to be in a better spot down the road. What else? This book is really revealing. What else? I think that's about it for now. I mean, The Millionaire Mind, really good read. And another last thing, it talks about the balance between family and business. A lot of times, millionaires spend a lot of time with their family and friends and relatives, which naturally gives them the opportunity to do business or make connections to do business. But it's not in the thinking of, oh, I'm gonna contact these people or network to get business. See, it's a mindset shift there. And this is what millionaires have done with themselves. Oh, another thing they talk about in this book is that all their tasks have been outsourced to somebody else. They're not doing the work themselves. All these menial tasks that can be automated, they give it to somebody else to do. They don't do it. And so that's been really good to see. But anyway, I think I'm done talking here. The Millionaire Mind, really good read. I'm in the first chapter now. So as I continue this book, I give you all another update. Until that time, peace.